Hey guys, my name is Brandon. Today we are going to presenting the users and gratification theory.
I'm Kobe.
I'm Mandy.
I'm Zishen.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Kelvin.
Next. This is the introduction of users and gratification theory. Users and gratification theory focus on how people actively select media to satisfy specific needs, unlike model that view audience as passive. Users and gratification theory sees individuals as goal-oriented, using media for information, social interact, or stress relief. Developed from research in the 1940s and expanded by Katz and Blumler. The theory shifts the focus from what media do to people to what people do with media, making it highly relevant in today's digital and interactive media environment. Next.
First, I will briefly talk about the history and origin of users and gratification theory. This theory was developed in the early 1970s by Kat Blumler and Gervich. At that time, most media study focused on what media does to people. However, UGT takes a very different approach. It focuses on why people choose to use media. So instead of seeing audience as passive, UGT introduced the media of the active audience, meaning people actively select media based on their own need and preference. Now let's look at the theoretical background of UGT. According to this theory, media used to motivated and goal-oriented. People don't use media randomly. They use it because they want to satisfy certain needs, or what we call gratifications. UGT identifies four main types of gratification. The first is information, such as getting news and learning something new. The second is entertainment, which include reflection and enjoyment. The third is personal identity, where media help individuals understand themselves or reinforce their value. And the last one is social integration, which we refer to connecting with others or feeling a sense of belonging. Because of this flexibility, UGT is still very useful today, especially for understanding modern media like social media and digital platforms.
I will now explain the evolution and development of use and gratification theory. UGT originally focused on why people choose certain types of media. Unlike earlier theories, it viewed audience as active users who select media to satisfy needs such as information, entertainment, social interaction, and self-identity. With the rise of digital and interactive media, UGT expands significantly. Users no longer only consume content, they also produce, share, and respond to it. This shift introduced new forms of gratification, including social validation, identity construction, and receiving feedback from others. From around 2015 onwards, research began to focus more on specific devices, especially smartphone and smart speaker. Studies show that these technology are used not only of participate purpose, but also for enjoyment and emotional experience. As a result, UGT now includes both content-based motivates and device-specific motivates. UGT has also been applied to social media platforms such as TikTok. Research show that young users participate in viral challenges for entertainment, social interaction, information sharing. Critics show video also fulfills need for identity, social connectedness, and attention. Next. So now I will be presenting the important notion, concept, and assumption or arguments of the theory. There are three main concepts which are active audiencehood, go direct media behavior, and audience awareness and competition. Next. One key concept of UGT is active audiencehood. This means audiences are active decision makers that don't just passively consume media. Media choice depends on personal needs in the interested and life situation. Importantly, the same content can serve very different purpose for different people. For example, one person might watch the news to get information while another watch the same news program for entertainment or social interaction. Next. So another core concept is go direct media behavior. UGT proposed that media use is intentional, whether consciously or subconsciously. Our goal influence what content we choose, how we interpret it, and how often we use it.
The theory identifies several needs that drive media use, such as information, personal identity, social interaction, escapism, and entertainment. These needs may overlap, shift over time, or change depending on the context. Next. UGT assumes that audiences are aware of why they use media. Researchers rely on self-reporting methods like surveys or interviews to study the gratifications people seek and obtain. The theory also highlights that media competes with other ways to satisfy needs, such as hobbies, social interaction, or exercise. Finally, UGT differentiates between gratifications sought and gratifications obtained. People have expectations before using media, and satisfaction occurs if what they obtain meets or exceeds these expectations. If not, they may seek alternatives, making media use a dynamic and evaluate process. Next.
Now I will be presenting the critique of the theories. There are three main points in these critique theories. Overall, the users and gratification theory has been criticized for overemphasizing individual choice while overlooking the social and cultural influence choice while overlooking the social medias and cultural influence that shape media's use. It's assumed that audiences are always active and rotation, even though many media's behaviors today, such as mindless scrolling and begin watching, are passive. The theory also relies heavily on self-reporting, which can be incorrect due to forgetfulness or social disability base. Additionally, it has low predictive power as it explains media use but cannot actively predict future behaviors. Next.
Now for this slide, I will talk about the future development of users and gratification theory. In the future, this theory will continue to change because digital media is becoming more important than traditional media. And today, most people use smartphones, social media, and streaming platforms every day instead of watching TV or reading newspaper. Nowadays, media use has become a daily habit. Many people scroll social media or watch videos without even realizing it. And this shows how deeply media is part of our daily life. The theory can still explain why people use digital media, especially for emotional reasons. For example, people use media to relax, reduce stress, feel happy, or improve their mood. And today, many platforms also use algorithms to suggest content. This means our media choices are influenced by both of our personal needs and technology. Because of this, users and gratification theory is still useful in understanding modern media use. Next.
This is the conclusion of users and gratification theories. The users and gratification theories highlight that audience actively choose media to satisfy specific needs like information, entertainment, or relaxation. Despite some limitation, it remains relevant today, especially with interactive online platforms that give users greater control over their media consumption. Next. Thank you.